everyone, back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And it looks like Newcastle are about to spit their dummy. No, not like me when I have a rant. No, it looks like long-serving defender Paul Dummett may eventually have played his last game in a black and white shirt. Yes, Dummett sounds like, if the reports are to be believed, that he's going to be away at the end of the season. He won't be getting a new contract. He won't be signing a new contract, and he'll be moving on to pastures new. And this is a strange one, this, because I've always really liked Paul Dummett. I think a lot of people supporting Newcastle have done as well, really, because when called upon, he's gave his all. He's never let you down. He's been like a steady 6, 7 out of 10 in terms of his performances. You know, he's a real old-fashioned blood and guts defender who'll throw himself in front of anything to try and stop the attack, and probably that's why he's been injured so many times in his career. But you know, he seems like a really good lad as well. He's full of crack and banter. You always see him doing the jokey social media stuff that the club's really good at now and stuff like that as well. But I think for Paul's sake and for Newcastle's sake, I think it probably is time to sever ties. He's been at the club since 2010. He's racked up over 200 appearances, I think 4 goals and 1 assist. But if you break that down on an average for the length of time he's been here, it works out at 15 games a season, which just isn't good enough at the top level. I think the biggest season he had for appearances was 45 appearances in the 2016-17 season under Rafa Benitez, where he played a vital part in getting us promoted, which was a huge part of the club's history. So he has been a good servant over the years, but yeah, I think the time is right to probably say goodbye and wish them all the best. I still think there's a player in there for a championship team. I think, you know, you look at the team who played the night, Blackburn, you know, who gave us a really good game, you know, and I think we were lucky to go through. But, you know, you could see Dummett, you know, leading the back four there with a captain's armband for a team like that, trying to get themselves back to the Premier League. And you could see Paul Dummett putting in a really good shift for a team like that for a couple of seasons. And I think, you know, he's better than just rotting away in the reserves. I think he really could do something for a championship team. He's got experience, you know, 5 caps for Wales as well. I think the injuries have hampered him there in that regard as well, because I think he could have more caps had he played more games for Newcastle as well. But he can play left back, he can play centre half. I think his legs are probably gone for left back now, but he's a good centre half. You know, we saw against Manchester City and Manchester United this season, he played excellently against those teams, you know, and he really did put in a good performance against top Premier League opposition. So I think he could do a good job for a championship club, and I wish Dummett well, I really do. But I think Newcastle do have to improve on the overall squad, and I think there's no room for sentiment anymore, regardless of how long he's been at the club. And Dummett's been there since 2010, as I say. You know, it's testimonial time, really, in terms of the length of time he's been there. Maybe he will get one as a send-off as well. But, you know, in that time of 200 appearances, he's been injured for about 160 games or something daft like that. So he's nearly racked up as many games missed as he has appeared for the football club, and you can't get away from that. You know, that injury record has been horrendous for Paul Dummett. It's really hampered his career. I think he could have had a better career than he probably has done had it not been for all those injuries. But, you know, he could be the first of many that Newcastle maybe, you know, wave goodbye to in the summer, because I think the squad overall needs a massive improvement. You know, we need to be able to rely on better players who can come in and play, players who aren't injured all the time. You know, and Dummett's now 32 years old, so I think he's going past that point where, you know, we can rely on him, maybe looking to replace him with some of the youth coming through, or possibly some other signings as well. But you wish him well. I think he has been a great servant for the football club. I'm certainly not going to come in here and slag off Paul Dummett, because every time he's played, he's left it all out there on the pitch, and you've got to give the lad the respect for that as well. I have some fond memories. I remember this corking goal against Manchester United as well, and some thunderous tackles from Paul Dummett. I think even recently against Man City this season, if you go back and watch that game, I think he absolutely battered somebody in the midfield and got a huge cheer from St James's Park. But Dummett's the kind of player, go off, have a couple of seasons in the Championship or something like that. He might come back and be part of the coaching setup, but I think he will be the first of many. I can see the likes of Matt Ritchie possibly going at the end of the season as well. Maybe Matt will stay with the club in a coaching capacity. But, you know, a lot of these players do move on, but they do come back and be coaches. You know, you think of Peter Ramage and, you know, Steve Harper and people like that as well, even Shola. So I think, you know, Dummett could very well come back as a coach someday. But me personally, I wish him well, and I hope he has a good couple of years to end his career, and maybe comes back to Newcastle in a coaching capacity, because he is a good role model for a lot of these young kids in the academy who want to do something and follow the footsteps of the likes of Paul. You know, Sean Longstaff would have looked up to him as well, I'm sure. And, you know, then you've got Louis Miley coming through and Elliot Anderson. So all of these kids who come through from the academy and get into the first team is a good example of just how you can do it as well if you work hard and get your head down. And we don't want these guys fucking off to Liverpool and people like that, like we've seen the other day, or likes of Bobby Clark. So, you know, Dummett is a good example for that. And he's been a good servant to the football club. But I think the time is probably right for him to go and for us to wave him goodbye and wish him all the best. He'll always be, you know, welcome in Newcastle. I'm sure he's a local lad, a crammy lad. come through the ranks, done well, served the club well. But yeah, it's time to move on, and I wish Paul all the best of his career if these stories are to be believed. Let us know what you think in the comments below about the Dummett news. If it is true, hopefully, I'm sure the club will come out and confirm or deny it pretty soon, as will Eddie Howe. But let us know what your thoughts are. Are you happy to see the back of Dummett? Do you think we should keep him on? Do you think we maybe need players like him in the squad, for his character and his attachment to the club? Or do you think it's time to upgrade the whole squad in terms of not just the first team and the first 15, but the 25 as well? We always like to hear from you. Smash a comment in, like and subscribe. We're getting close to 7,000 subs now, guys. Smash that button. All free content. But if you do want to give back the channel, there is an option there too for you. Smash whichever button suits you best. We'll be back with some more content this week. We've got the Wolves preview coming and the post-match. Hopefully Newcastle can put in a better performance than they have done over the last couple of games. Have a belter. We'll see you later. Cheers.